All right, let's jump straight into this explainer. Today, we're taking down a classic, everyday exam challenge right out of the WAEC Mathematics 2026 paper, specifically question 17. Look, if you're grinding away, studying for your WAEC, NECO, or JAMB exams, this explainer, brought to you by QandAHelp, is literally going to be your best friend. We are breaking down significant figures step by step so you can walk into that exam hall, sit down, and just feel total clarity and confidence. So picture this, you're in the hot seat, the clock is ticking, and here's the exact question staring back at you. Write 6.02517 to three significant figures, and they give you four options to choose from. A is 6.03, B is 6.02, C is 6.026, and D is 6.025. Now, I know exactly how tricky these rounding problems feel under pressure. The numbers start to blur together, and you just know examiner traps are hiding everywhere. But honestly, don't even sweat it because we're going to completely dismantle this question together. To do that, I want to give you our absolute blueprint for success. I like to call this the significant figure shortcut. It's just a foolproof four-step process. Step 1, find the very first non-zero digit. Step 2, count out your required number of figures. Step 3, look closely at the very next digit. And step 4, if that next digit is 5 or more, you round up. That's literally the whole shebang. Let's actually apply this to our number and watch it build a straight path right to the correct answer. Okay, so starting with step 1 on our target number here, 6.02517. We need to kick off our detective work by finding the first non-zero digit. Scanning from left to right, boom, it's the 6. That 6 is our very first significant figure. It is the starting line for absolutely everything else we're going to do to solve this problem. Now, we roll right into step 2. The question explicitly asked us for three significant figures. So I want you to imagine we have exactly 3 VIP seats to fill. The 6 immediately grabs that first seat. The next digit, which is 0, takes the second seat. And the digit right after that, the 2, claims the third and final seat. So our 3 crucial seats are now completely occupied by 6, 0, and 2. Now hold on, because right here is where we dodge a massive exam trap. You're probably looking at this and wondering, wait, does that 0 actually count? Yes, it absolutely does, and it's a perfect example of what we call an interior 0. An interior 0 is just a 0 placed safely between two non-zero digits. In this case, it's perfectly sandwiched right between the 6 and the 2. Because it's locked in there, it is always counted as a significant figure. It 100% gets a seat. All right, so our 3 seats are filled, giving us 6.02. But we definitely can't just stop there. We have to hit step 3 of our shortcut, which means inspecting the very next digit waiting right outside our seats. Check out that bright red spotlight on the number 5. This 5 is our deciding catalyst. It's basically the boss that tells the last seated digit what it needs to do next. And that brings us to the grand finale, step 4, the rounding rule. The rule says that if our deciding digit is 5 or more, we have to round up. Since our deciding digit here is exactly 5, it forces the number in our final seat, that 2, to increase by 1. So the 2 rounds up to a 3, and the rest of those trailing digits just fall away completely. We are left with 6.03. Now let's systematically eliminate the wrong suspects here, because the examiner really tried it. Option B is 6.02. If you pick this, you fell into that classic trap of just chopping off the extra numbers and completely forgetting to round up when the next digit was a 5. Option C and D, well, there's 6.026 and 6.025. Those both have 4 significant figures, not 3. They literally just threw those in, hoping you wouldn't read the instructions carefully. So by sticking to our 4-step shortcut and totally dodging those predictable traps, we can confidently lock in option A as the absolute undeniable correct answer, 6.03. It has exactly 3 significant figures, and we correctly rounded up that final digit. And just like that, boom, you've secured a mark. All right, let's keep this momentum going. We're moving on to some rapid-fire quick quizzes. Here's your first quick quiz. Write 4.784 to 3 significant figures. Let's see what happens when our deciding digit isn't quite as intimidating. Run through those 4 steps in your head real quick. You got your answer? Okay, let's see how you did. Applying our shortcut, our very first non-zero digit is 4. We fill our 3 seats with the 4, the 7, and the 8. Then we peek at the next digit waiting right outside. It's a 4. Now, because 4 is less than 5, it just doesn't have the power to change our last seated digit. The 8 stays exactly as it is. We drop that extra 4, and our final answer is simply 4.78. All right, are you ready for the ultimate boss level question? Quick quiz 2. Write 0.006549 to 3 significant figures. This one right here features those dreaded, anxiety-inducing leading zeros. Take a second. Think about how we handle this based on the exact same rules we just built. This brilliantly illustrates why rule number 1 of our shortcut is so important. Remember, we have to find the first non-zero digit. Leading zeros, they never ever get a seat. They just aren't significant. So we skip right past them and start our counting at the 6. That means our 3 seats are filled by the 6, the 5, and the 4. Now we check the deciding digit right next door. And wow, it's a massive 9. Because 9 is 5 or more, it forces that 4 in our last seat to round up to a 5, leaving us with a perfectly rounded, 100% correct answer, 0.00655. Honestly, see how easy that becomes once you have the right visual structure? You just completely dominated interior zeros, leading zeros, and all those sneaky rounding rules. So the question I want to leave you with as we wrap up this explainer is, what other math traps are you ready to dismantle on your next exam? Seriously, do not let these tests intimidate you. Head over to QandAHelp.com for more brilliant prep tools, practice with past questions, and just keep building that confidence ahead of your WAEC, NECO, and JAMB exams. Keep learning, stay focused, and go absolutely ace those tests.